Let's play! Whoa! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. You all may call me Pharaoh, and welcome back to Let's Play Raging Loop. Last time we left off, we looked like we were kind of flirting with both Chimi and Rikako, so things were going well there, it looked like. But then the mists finally came, as we expected they were. But it looks like everybody should be safe. Everybody has their own room now, like a little home. They cleansed. They apparently slept. So hopefully things are going to be okay now. And also, I was just looking at my comments in my videos, and apparently you can actually get rid of the... Oh, dear God, you can. How did I miss that? The entire time, I didn't realize you could hide the menu from the bottom there. Although, wait a minute. How do you get it back? Did I just push X again? Oh. How do you hide it forever? I could have sworn somebody told me I can just hide it forever and ever, but maybe not. Whatever. Anyway, let's continue. My eyes were closed, but it was bright. That could only mean that morning had come. No. Well, yes, but there was something more important. I'd actually closed my eyes and fallen asleep. I got to my feet. Sure enough, it was morning. I'd actually ended up sleeping. Well, but that meant that, since I completed my preparations, I was actually invited to the feast. That was proof that as long as you had a place to stay, you could participate in the feast even if you'd lived here only for a day. It was 6 o'clock right now. I'd gone to bed way too early, but that provided me a good night's sleep. I couldn't sense any beasts outside. Without any hesitation, I opened the door. Sure enough, there was the mist. Last time, the first one to come to me was Chimi, but that was later than it was now. Was I supposed to just wait before making a move? No. This was a chance to learn something I hadn't last time. I couldn't let this opportunity slip me by. Yasumizu was eerily silent. I couldn't see anything. My whole body was covered in cold mist, and I was all alone. It reminded me of my time wandering the endless riverbed before death. Crap. People despaired when they were cold, hungry, alone, and could barely see. This was unavoidable, and not something I could win against. I had to find someone right away. Who's there? Suddenly, I heard an angry shout from nearby. It made me turn rigid, and then... You! Early, huh? Kanzo Makishima came out of the mist, gun in hand. Good morning. Woke up just now? Yeah, nothing special happened. Saw your stomach? Huh? The Guardian show on the stomach. Oh yeah. Chimi had told me that last time. Also mentioned something about Miko not being able to read it. Go and look. If you say so. Acting like I didn't know what he was talking about, I returned to the hut. Man, that was close. I hadn't even considered a possibility that I'd be a guardian, or that I'd have one. Well, it was unlikely, but I checked just to be sure. I lifted up my t-shirt and exposed my stomach. Wow. You know what? This actually makes things really interesting. Because us being a guardian, which one it is, it opens up things quite a bit more, I'd like to imagine. What I saw almost made me shriek. I hadn't even noticed it. I didn't realize there was something like this on my body. It was drawn in a red fluid, most likely blood. And it was nothing that I've ever seen before. Also, there was some eerie text there. I need a mirror. No, I'll take a photo. After a bit of trial and error, I finally read what it said. The tower, lookout, the snake, find the lurking Yomi, cleanse and purify, or die. So, where's the snake? Because before, that was, what's his name? That was Takumi. So it's their job to figure out, like, they choose somebody to investigate and whether they're, like, a wolf or a human. If I'm correct about it. So this mark was the snake's. It clearly said the tower lookout. The description seemed faithful to the original source, and it had a certain aura about it. Find the lurking Yomi. The snake's role was to search for the Yomibito. Cleanse and purify or die. Man, not being around about at all, are we? Anyway, that meant the corruption would take me if I didn't wash it off, huh? I quickly grabbed a wet towel and washed off the freaky warning. It even smelled like blood. I didn't know what it belonged to, though. If it were animal blood, I might have been in danger of catching something. Man, what were they thinking? Anyway, the snake, of all things? It belonged to the Takumi-san last time. He quickly revealed it, and I assumed the wolves used it to their advantage. After all, the snake was the human's only way of actively confirming who was a wolf or not. This made it even harder for me to die. And, just like I thought yesterday, the roles had changed a lot. There was now no guarantee that Yasunaga-kun and Taesan were wolves. They could easily be humans. The same went for everyone else. It was best to assume that I'd been sent back to square one on that front. Wait. How was I supposed to use the snake's power anyway? The blood letters only said I was a snake and I had to wash it off right away. Did someone know? But if I went to ask, I'd basically be telling them I was a snake. Would there be an explanation during the first feast? I had no choice but to believe. For now, I would just return to the plaza. Good morning. I walked through the mist as I called out. Over here, boy. This time I had no problems meeting up with Kanzo-san. Did you check it? Yes. Well? My mind stopped for a second. Well, what? But nothing. Don't mind it. He looked away. Was that a leading question just now? If there was something on my stomach, it meant I had a guardian. I was meant to be a newcomer who didn't know anything. Wasn't it unfair to ask me that? If I'd actually said or even implied that there had been something on my stomach, that would mean that I had a guardian. Or if I said there was nothing, that could be used against me further down the line, putting me at a disadvantage. If he was a wolf who knew the implications of his question... Then again, I felt like he retracted his question because he knew it could lead to that kind of misunderstanding. Shit. I'd love to ask that, but I couldn't use knowledge I wasn't supposed to have. Makishima-san, right? Have you looked around yet? Well, that seemed like a yes to me. Is everyone alright? One's dead. Really? Huh? Wait. You completely lost me just now. What's going on? Stop making noise. I'll kill you. Kill? Did he really just use that word so casually? Stay where you are. I don't trust you. He brandished his rifle again. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything. We'll decide that at the feast. He sure was assertive. Maybe he didn't have a guardian this time? This made me realize I could tell friend from foe by searching for differences in their behavior from last time around. For now, though, I just had to make it through this awkward moment with Kanzo-san. I guess it does look bad because we woke up really early, so... Soon enough, we were joined by the others. Tae-san, Takumi-san, Kiyori-san, Yoshisugu-kun, the old wolf guy, Takumi-san and Kanzo-san then went to the Nasato mansion and a dorm, leaving me with just a woman, a child, and 2 elders. Hey, old fart! I wasn't one of those old farts, damn it. What, you mean me? Who else? Now that's just uncalled for. What is it anyway? You know anything? Huh? Like what? You got sent to Yasumizu and this happened. It's fucking weird, ain't it? You talked to Higuchi, right? That asshole tell you anything? No, nothing comes to mind. I played it off. Looks like the streak of bad luck I've had since Tokyo is still going on. I can sense the situation isn't normal. This mist is just crazy. Like you're the one to talk. You're batshit. He said that, but his tone wasn't as antagonistic as before. It actually felt somewhat friendly. I can only guess that my act was from yesterday warmed him up to me. Yep, a bit anyway. Yoshisugu, this again? I ain't picking a fight this time. And stop pushing yourself. You're all pale. I'm sorry about this, Fusashi-san. And Yoshisugu, you behave. I don't mind. By the way, Rikaku-san and Miko-chan still aren't here? It seems so. They usually wake up early. I don't give a shit about the village heads. Stop it, Yoshi-kun. I'll go and call them. Their relationships were really complicated. Soon enough, Tei-san brought Rikaku-san and Miko. Good morning. As she entered the plaza, she looked at our mist-covered faces. Upon seeing mine, she gasped. And then she gave me a very slight bow. Oni-chan, I rolled in my futon and hit my leg. It hurts. Miko seemed in poor spirits. A bit later, I will make it better with some magic words. Magic? I wouldn't have been all that surprised that she was actually capable of that. This is my first time seeing Yasumizu's mist. It's awfully thick. It is my first time as well. I believe we will have to perform the feast. True. I don't want no fucking family head telling me what to do to the damn feast. Yoshisugu! I am sorry for being so powerless. But, Oni-chan, you're scary. I ain't okay with you being here. You're still a village head, and there's no way to tell what you're thinking. What's your beef with her? Do you hate the village heads that much? Damn right I do. Without that, Mom would have. I'll expose you eventually. Yoshisugu-kun sure was aggressive this time. Did he have a guardian? This line of thinking felt dangerous. Making too many assumptions seemed more risky than not knowing anything. Oni-chan? Rikaku-san was as inexpressive as always, but I could tell she was feeling depressed. Man, things sure are different here, huh? Haruaki-sama. She looked around in confusion before. I am relieved you are well. Truly. She then gave me a smile. Hey, it's not like a mist can do much to me, right? Saranaga. That is the name of the river below. Its mists are said to be the breath of Yomi. They are considered to be the worst of ill omens here in Fujiyoshi. Masato-san told me that people always die when there are mists. She made a stern face unlike any I'd seen on her. What a horrible thing to say to a newcomer such as yourself. Oh, but he said it's only because the mist is so dense it causes many accidents. Even so, it is imprudent. People still live here. Saying that someone is certain to die is too ominous. I've only been here a day, but from what I can tell, you're pretty different from the other family heads, aren't you?
Why would you think that?
Well, the way you talk about Yasumizu, for one, it's nothing like Nasato-san and Kama Fujiyoshi's people.
I merely think that it should be shown the respect it deserves. Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so...
What do you mean? Can you elaborate?
I shall tell you eventually. Now is not...
Yeah, I understand. It's a bad time for that.
I want to protect Yasumizu.
Thus, Rikako-san fell silent. Feeling a bit awkward, I resumed waiting. Soon enough, Takumi-san brought Kiyonosuke-shi to us. He immediately started worrying about Rikako-san, as expected, but she seemed unreceptive to him. I might have gotten in the way of his love story. It made me feel a little bad. Eventually, Kanzo-san returned along with the students.
Mamiya-san, watch where you step. Whoa!
Seeing Hisoko and Mami-san with them filled me with relief. Thus... Oh, I finally understood what would happen now.
Good morning, everyone.
Ignoring everyone's gloomy faces, she forced a smile and greeted us like it was a normal morning. The inhabitants didn't respond. I also had a guess about what had happened, so I had trouble picking my words too.
What's wrong with you all? Sure, this is a dense miss, but what about it? Wait, is Hashimoto-san still asleep?
Again, no one responded.
He's up the hill, right? I'll go check.
No point. Kazushi opened his mouth, taking upon himself to say it. I could already hear some stifled sobbing. It was Haru-chan. Not only was she afraid, she'd also realized that a tragedy had occurred. Mamiya-san realized that something was wrong and was about to ask about it when... Big guy's dead. The crude old man just told her what was up.
Dead? What are you...
He's lying dead near the landslide.
What kind of nonsense is that?
She instantly lost her composure. The unnatural aura around here was suddenly starting to get to her.
Don't mess with me like that. We must fix our van and leave as soon as possible. I'll go wake him up myself.
Stay where you are.
What right do you have to...
Makishima-san! I raised my voice because Kazushi reached for his gun again.
This has got to be a joke. What is this? Am I being punked? Did you burst the tires for this? Oh, that makes sense.
We still don't know the rules. There's no guarantee that we'll do what you want just because you have a gun. What's your deal? You should stop that, old man. What's gotten into you? You always tell us never to point guns at people. Kazushi silently lowered his gun.
If it's not a joke, then it's a crime. You're going too far. Stop it right now. I'm leaving this instant.
Mamiya-san, was it? Sorry, but that won't fly. You can't leave until the mist clears. And sorry to say this, but your partner's gone. Someone killed him.
Killed? Killed? What are you saying?
Takumi, take her. Can you handle blood?
You're joking, right?
I'll go with you. He helped me a lot. Alright. You have to help me, though. For the cleanup, I assumed. Alright.
I shall go as well. Miko, you stay here. I'll go too.
Me too. That shit doesn't scare me. How absurd. He must have tripped on something because of the mist. The place happens to belong to me, so I guess I must see it too. How troublesome. We got so many volunteers that, besides the old man and Miko, the only ones who ended up staying were Kiyori-san and Haru-chan, both of whom didn't look so good. Wait, where's Yoshinaga? Did I miss that? And Tae? Well, whatever. Takumi-san led us uphill. Since we went through the... Unless they just assume they're going to come with us. Never mind. Since we went through the field, some of us fell or got stuck, so we took a whole 10 minutes. Still, we arrived at the scene of the crime. What I saw there was almost exactly the same as what I saw last time. There was a brutalized corpse. It was close to the prefab, next to the waist-tall boulder which did little to hide a large body. It was thoroughly destroyed. The entire frame had been torn apart and bent as if systematically detached his muscles, insides, and bones from his body. The only thing that hinted at the only things that hinted at who this once was, were the scattered pieces of clothing and the impressive amount of flesh. Once again, Yudai Hashimotoshi failed to survive the first night. Now, it makes me wonder now if we chose the other option where we're trying to choose room, whatever. It makes me wonder if something's up with this room. I guess we'll find out eventually. So he went out last night, as Takumi-san muttered to himself.
What is that?
Mamiya-san finally broke her disbelieving silence of a hysterical scream.
What happened? What happened to Hashimoto-san? How did he end up like... Mamiya-san, please calm down. How can I? Why? Why did this happen? This is just... Ugh.
Mamiya-san stopped mid-sentence and began puking. She'd either screamed herself into vomiting or caught a direct glimpse of the corpse. You're not the only one who wants to scream. Crap. I don't want to die because of some old story. You knew about this? Huh? You knew that this would happen? I asked him that while feigning anger and despair. Can't say I did. But we heard that this happens. This comes, people die. Those deaths were caused by accidents. That's what I thought. I believe the village heads told us too. And look at that, they were lying. Who lied about what? What, are you saying that the so-called Ukami have come back from the dead? Oh, don't act like you know shit. Monsters and gods don't just pop out of nowhere. It's the village heads. They must have sent some beasts here.
Stop it, you two.
Rikako-san's faint yet stern voice cut the argument short. She then faced Hashimoto-san's body and lowered herself before it.
It is our duty to give proper treatment to the guests who fail to prepare for the feast. We should, at the very least, let him go to Yomi in peace. I shall take in his corruption.
Rikako-san then... What are you... Rikako-san was inching her face closer to the pile of flesh and bone when...
Get away!
Mamiya-san suddenly cut in, stopping her. Hey, what are you doing? Stop!
Don't hold me back!
Her voice and face are borderline demonic. None of us could bring ourselves to stop her. Oh, God. She leapt over to the corpse and, ignoring the blood, began sifting through the remains with her hands.
It has to be here.
I suddenly realized what she was doing. I'll help. She didn't respond, nor stop me. She'd completely lost her cool, but that madness was under control. It was clear that this wasn't some unreasonable panic. After all, He must have had it. I began helping her roughly, searching the body.
Haruaki-san, what are you doing?
The camera. He might have taken some photos.
Oh.
This kill was the same as last loop. The body was torn apart with no rhyme or reason. I felt something stiff on my hand. It was hair. I was close to the head. Don't overthink it. His camera must have been on his neck. I could follow this hint and... I felt a cord on my hand. Found it!
Where?
It was a thoroughly broken, expensive-looking digital camera. It must have cost a fortune, but Mamiya-san didn't care and just opened it.
Monsters? No way. They don't exist.
She muttered that in delirium, took out its memory card, threw the camera away, and ran off.
Hey, where are you going? Oh, Takumi-ni-chan, take care of the rest.
The two disappeared into the mist. Oh yeah, so they came along with us, never mind.
You know anything, Yasun?
Not much, but... Look, the prefab doesn't have a toilet. Oh, so he had to leave to take care of his business. He didn't know how important the preparations were, so this result was obvious. I should have been the one to stay in the prefab. He died because of me. But I couldn't let myself wallow in regret. But it does make me wonder, like, if we chose to take the prefab, how different would things be? Would he survive, or would we just die? And it makes me wonder, like, is there a true ending? I assume there must be a true ending where nobody dies. Like, we have to get the ultimate good ending, right? Where everybody survives except the wolves, maybe? I don't know. Rikaku-san approached the body again, but Takumi-san put his hand on her shoulder. You don't need to do that.
But...
I don't want to rely on some mysterious village head shit. Don't make me. Things will get worse. And you, Uematsu, always get the short end of the stick, don't you? Just put your hands together or something. Takumi-san's tone was neither calm nor sympathetic. I had no idea what he'd meant by her short end of the stick. But for some reason, I felt like he was protecting her from something.
Very well.
Rikaku-san did as she was told and put her hands together before chanting some sort of prayer. Yoshisugu-kun watched her with a scowl. Rikaku-san. Kyunosuke missed his chance to talk to her, so he was just frozen in place. Yasu, Yoshi, Chikamoshi, take everyone and go back. Now wash your hands and prepare to eat.
All right. Don't order me around. Let's go, Rick-chan.
Nasato-san, it's time to leave. I don't need you to lead me. Let's go, Rikaku-san. Thus, they all left. Sorry about this, Fusashi. Oh, you can count on me for this much. Takumi-san and I began cleaning up Hashimoto-san's body. We couldn't remove the door, so we carried him on a board from the destroyed construction site. And so, we dropped him into Saranaga. I listened carefully, and I thought I actually heard a splash this time. So there was a bottom after all. Then why had we gotten lost in that one loop? Thinking on that possibility, I parted ways with Takumi-san and returned to my hut and washed the blood off. I went to the plaza again. The people had gathered around the dining hall. They were handing out food, apparently.
You washed your hands?
Yes, and the rest of my body.
I see. Well done.
Tae-san seemed to be a bit softer on me than before.
You youngins need to eat. You won't last long if you don't.
True. What about you?
I don't have an appetite right now.
you should eat anyways, if you can manage it. Giving a vague response, Tayson looked up at the boulder next to us. I followed her gaze and... This is... Wait a minute. But there's 3 this time. Is that what's going on? I saw the blood sign from last time.
Yeah, each of them represents a wolf returning from Yomi, so there's 2 marks. It stands to reason there's 2 wolves.
That was what Chimi had told me last time. And now?
There are 3 wolves.
Yep. There were 3 of those weird diamond whirls. What do you mean?
I'll tell you later.
Very well. See you then. A bit overwhelmed, I walked away. The number of people had increased. I was told there could be 3 wolves at most, and that was exactly what we got this time. Why? What caused this change? There were several differences from last time, but which one of them did it? Whatever it was, I could assume that knowing the rules from last time wasn't much of an advantage. Outside a dining hall, Kanzo-san was sitting on the ground and drinking something from a large bowl. He looked up at me and... Better eat up! Said those curt words before focusing on his bowl again. He didn't trust me, nor did he antagonize me more than necessary. That was pretty reasonable, actually.
Welcome back, Fusashi-san.
Hold on really quick. Oh. Sorry, I was getting a spam call. Inside the building, I found the students, Uemasu-san, Miko, Kiyanosuke-shi, and Kiyori-san. Well, there was the old wolf guy too, but he was just staring at an empty bowl in the corner of the room. Sorry I couldn't help.
Oh, don't be. Thank you so much for helping Takami-san.
Oh, I didn't do much. Where's Chimi-chan and Mamaya-san?
The journalist said something about looking inside the camera and locked herself up in her room. Sarazawa-sama went to clean a journalist's clothes.
Made sense. Mamaya-san was really bloody.
Here you go.
Kiyori-san gave me a bowl, and I took one of the empty seats. Thank you for your work, Fusashi-san. No problem, Yasunaka-kun. You already remembered my name. What an honor. That wasn't enough to hint I was looping, was it? I took a pair of chopsticks and ate up. It was a simple meal of some boiled vegetables and meat.
I'm sorry it's nothing impressive. These are leftovers from yesterday, but we can't waste anything, as you might imagine.
How much food do we have?
The fridge stopped working, so the milk and meat will go bad soon, but you don't have to worry about the rice and vegetables.
Oh. I didn't think about it last time, but at the very least, this awful situation didn't come with a food shortage. Perhaps that was a silver lining. So, you have no electricity. Any other problems?
I'm worried about the gas. It was almost time to change the cylinder. So if it runs out, should we make bonfires? The mountain will go apeshit! Chikamoshi-kun, watch your language.
Listening to that strangely mundane exchange, I resumed eating. It was actually good. It didn't look like it was, so I felt like I had to close my eyes. Unlike the soup I was given in Kamafujiyoshi, it was well salted and had a rich taste. The meat had to be the game killed by Kanzo-shi and gutted by Chiyomi. It didn't reek much and had a simple flavor. It was probably venison. I'd consider this revenge for the time they made a fool out of me in the mountains. In terms of the amount of meat and seasoning, the people here seem to be eating better than they seem to be eating better than the people in Kamafujiyoshi. Was it just my imagination? After emptying my bowl, I was offered some more and gladly took it. It was best to eat whenever I had the chance. I'm impressed how quickly you got used to the local food, Kiyanosuke-shi suddenly commented. I thought he was being sarcastic, but his tone didn't seem antagonistic. You're not eating? Oh, I have food at home. Honestly, I've lived in the city for so long, the local food seems tasteless to me now. By local, he probably meant Fujiyoshi as a whole, not just Yasumizu. And I really don't feel like eating right now.
You should dig in, Uncle. You might not get another chance. Mochi!
Haru-chan had been completely pale since I arrived, but she suddenly covered her mouth and ran off to the bathroom. She forced herself to eat what she'd been given, but the stress had left her unable to keep it down. Chikamochi, you were disinherited because you didn't understand people's feelings. Have you learned nothing?
I don't want to hear from you. I'll go say sorry.
He went to the bathroom, too, leaving the rest of us feeling kind of awkward. What's going to happen now? We'll probably have a gathering like the old days and use it to decide who did it. And what then?
Don't worry, Fusashi-san.
Yasunaga-kun joined the conversation with an unnaturally bright tone.
I'm sure it won't be anything unreasonable.
Oh, you sound confident. Makes you seem reliable.
Maybe. Anyway, don't worry.
Was he a wolf this time too? As I frowned and thought to myself, Takumi-san joined us.
Takumi-san.
Kiori-san, get me lots of whatever's up. You alright, Kyo? Don't call me that. Oh, Fusashi, you eating it too? Yeah. Thank you for the food, Kiori-san. Man, you got to eat her food before me. Lucky you. Good stuff, huh? Yeah. Makes me want someone like her as my wife. That was really dumb. That was really dumb of me to say that.
Oh my, you flatter me too much.
You? Oh, don't tell me you're after. Huh? Wait, what's up with the atmosphere? After playing it off... by the way, Takumi-san. I called Takumi in a low voice. What? When's the feast? At 9. Old man Kanzo said it. Alright. It wasn't even an hour before we would begin discussing who to kill. Takumi-san began eating and everyone fell silent, so I went to move seats. You okay, old man? Oh? He was the same as always. Man, just what would we do if we had a guardian? This sure is troublesome. I arrive and get caught up in the mist the very next day. Where in Yasumizu do you live?
Go!
This wasn't even a conversation. Sorry. Looks like I got in the way of something.
It's safe here.
Excuse me?
This is the most safe place. That's why I'm here.
Safe? What, you mean a dining hall? No response. Were we having a dialogue, or was he just muttering things that made no sense? Was he talking about Yasumizu? That couldn't be it. After all, this was the least safe place in Fujiyoshi. Was he talking about the actual corner of the room itself? I don't know. I thought that he had a reason why he found it safe, but whatever it was, it couldn't save him from dying last time. In the end, it wasn't safe for him either. Something seemed off, but I just couldn't put my finger on what. I somehow lost my right to sit next to him and began searching for a new seat as I waited. The clock seemed to move strangely slowly. A chair next to me was pulled a bit. Anyway, where could I sit? Our eyes met. Anyway, where could I sit?
I wish to talk to you, Haruaki-sama.
She expressed her words. Anyway, where could I... Don't ignore me, Kaku-san! Why are you the one saying that? What do you mean? I know you're new and don't know what to respect, but it's common courtesy to respond to a woman's modest consideration. I'm not sure it was modest, but I really can't argue with the rest. So you understand. Wait, are you just messing around? Dekako-san, you look beautiful today. Oh. There, we're done talking. Anyway, Sato-senpai, how do you manage to play a straight man so naturally? Oh. Don't mess around with the village heads!
Oni-chan, you're being weird.
Wow, he made a comedy routine out of these people. Strange guy.
Fusashi-san is quite funny.
Kaori-san, look at his face.
It's funny, Takumi-san.
Dear God, like I'm telling you, there's just some weird ass scenes in this game. I don't get it. Kiyunosuke eventually shouted the standard, "I'm not staying with anyone so ill-bred," and left. Well, Takumi-san went with him, so I doubted Kiyunosuke would end up unlucky victim number 2, as per horror cliches. It came back to me. During the previous Feast of the Yomi Purge, Chikamochi Kamoshida and the old wolf guy had been killed, probably by something other than corruption. The suspects were from back then who are now around the dining hall were... No. If it meant finding out the truth, I could just leave that. I had to switch gears. Anyway, I sat down next to Dekako-san, who said her hua-has so many times she'd actually gone limp.
Fusayuki-san!
So that was my name now, huh? I gave up on correcting her. Hey, Miko-chan. I'll borrow Oni-chan for a bit.
Okay.
Are you gonna talk? Then, you wanna play with me, Miko-chan?
Yeah!
Yasunaga-kun took Miko with him, giving us a chance to talk.
You are awful.
Hearing that from a beautiful beauty like you actually makes me happy.
Nah.
I was actually starting to find these reactions adorable. I could enjoy bullying an a cute older woman. This was a rare opportunity, and I appreciate it immensely. Anyway, what is it?
I feel quite guilty.
Huh? Why?
Because I accepted you and a journalist at the worst possible time.
Is that something to feel guilty about? No one can predict when a mist comes.
No, this is all happening because of our Fujiyoshi's original sin.
Original sin?
Yes. This village prospered by killing the servants of God, after all.
Ah, the ancient story of killing the wolves, huh? I'd like to hear more.
Yamawaki-sama should give an explanation later.
Yamawaki-san will?
Yes. After all, she is Yasumizu's representative.
Representative. Not a landlord, huh?
Yes. Everything in Yasumizu belongs to either the village or the family heads, but it still needs a manager. Yamawaki-sama is a well-adjusted lady, and the oldest of us all, so she possesses discretion. That is the way it is.
I see. So the way it is that, huh? Instead of turning bashful, she actually glared at me this time. This was pretty good too. That aside, I now knew how it was. The eldest was the representative, and with that, she was in charge of the feast tutorial. By the way, you seem pretty hung up on the guests. Is there some sort of local culture related to that?
Yes. I hear that Fujiyoshi was once full of visitors who came to the Shinai Shrine to pray for good hunting. Hunters from the outside were considered honored guests and treated kindly around here.
Well, that made sense. If the belief itself was the village's main draw, I can understand why this unique religion survived for so long. I wanted to get certain details, but it didn't seem like something I should ask while alone. So that's how it was. You're nice to me because I'm a guest, right?
Huh? No, that's not...
Or is it because I was there when you got hurt?
That is... Yes, thank you again. But... do I need a reason?
Oh, well, not at all. I just felt like there was some reason behind it.
What if there was?
I'd be happy. Maybe. The adorable woman hung her head down, cheeks reddening. I was the one playing around with her, but that actually made me feel kind of bashful. Perhaps I had to be more serious about her feelings. How would I do that, though? Forget it. It wasn't a time for that. I was given an important role, so I had to find a way to keep the others alive.
Shall we go?
Kiyori-san's voice prompted everyone to rise from their seats. Then, we wordlessly began to leave the dining hall. It didn't feel like an emergency, but this was the end of our normal, everyday life. We already had people at the hall. Kanzoshi, Takumi-san, Kyunosuke-shi, Yoshisuku-kun, and...
Guys!
Chiemi and Mamiya-san were here too. Mamiya-san looked depressed. Her panic attack seemed to have subsided, but that doesn't mean she should come around to all of this. Chiemi whispered to me that they couldn't read the data they picked up, so we had no clues from the camera. What do you mean you couldn't read the data? That sucks. The wolf guy, the students, Haru-chan's face was still pale. Kiyori-san, Reikaku-san, Miko, and I all went inside. Something strange happened then. As they went in, they hid their faces with both hands and lowered their heads. It was a really weird gesture. I'd actually seen it last time, though. Tae-san had done this while facing a boulder when Prayer to Shinai was playing over the speakers. There'd been a strange veil-like thing on her face. Must have been another local custom. For now, I just follow their lead. Everyone sat in a circle. It seemed like they were seating in order of age, starting from the far end.
Yamawaki-sama, I will sit next to Miko.
Very well. It really wasn't enforced, though. Fusashi and a journalist should sit at the lower end. All right. I sat down closest to the exit. Then Mamiya-san sat down beside me. Are you okay with this?
I'm not a local, after all.
Her tone was cold. What's going to happen now?
No clue.
She was whispering things like, why did this happen? Or this can't just get any worse. And I couldn't see a single trace of the vigor from yesterday.
Is this everyone?
Mm-hmm. Yamawaki-san entered last and closed the door, plunging the room into total darkness. Mamiya-san gasped and Miko let out a quiet scream. But that was it. No one here from Yasumizu was shook. Then, there was a click of a switch being turned on, lighting up the bare light bulb above. And there we go. So it's almost everyone except freaking Hashimoto. The problem, what I'm thinking though, I'm still wondering, would we even have this feast if someone didn't survive? Or if everybody survived, you know? So that's why I'm a little bit confused. Like, I'd like a happy ending where everybody is okay, but it doesn't look like that's ever going to be the case. I'd imagine so anyway. So, I'm trying to wonder too, like, I'm not exactly in an hour, but I'm wondering how long this is going to take, because this could take a while. You know what? I'll keep going. Screw it. I'll keep going until this is finished, and then I'll call it an episode. So this might be a long one. The lighting was poor, making everyone's illuminated faces stand out more. It felt unnatural. like a whole other world.
Everyone's seated then. Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge.
And so it began. Urged by Yamawaki-san, Rikaku-san, and though understanding her implications, went deeper into the room. And after a bit of messing around, returned to us without tripping. In her hands, she held a labelless bottle. Labelless.
This is divine sake presented to Shinai-sama. Please drink it, starting from the guests.
Rikaku-san sat down next to Mamiya-san and gave her an aged sake cup.
Do I have to? Yes. It wards off the corruption.
Mamiya-san didn't reply, but it still took it. Rikaku-san then filled it with sake.
Is everyone drinking this? Drink as much as you want. We have a lot of sake.
Hisako-san glared at the cup, smelled it, and then just drank it all down. She sure looked like she could hold her liquor.
It's normal, good quality sake. It smells fruity, like Jinjo.
Impressed by her professionalism, I took the cup from her.
Can you drink? Haruaki-sama.
Bring it on. With a lighthearted reply, I let her fill the cup. Then drank it all. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. It seemed like a luxury, even. I had no idea how such a poor settlement got their hands on it. It didn't seem like I could ask for more, so I just gave the cup to Miko. Rikaku-san gestured for her just to pretend to drink it. Same for the students. The sake went through several people without anyone drinking.
Now it's all the adults. Here I go.
And she emptied it the moment she got it. Rikaku-san, who was sitting next to her if it wasn't for Miko, then took a sip herself, followed by Kiyori-san, until Kiyonosuke finally emptied what was left. Takumi-san drank two full cups, saying, "Some feast, huh? We get to drink sake during the day." Then the others each emptied a cup. That was everyone, so Rikaku-san took the bottle and cup and returned to her place. "We done? Teba, talk."
We have people who do not know the story. You should start from the beginning. That's true. Well, let me tell you about it.
Finally.
Shinai-sama is the god of the mountain. Long ago, when this village was made, Shinai-sama's first guardian was the wolves, Ukami-sama. The wolves protected the other guardians, the snake, monkey, crow, and spider, from the Yomibito. What's a Yomibito? People who died and came back. Scary. It's fine. I am with you. In Kama Fujiyoshi, the Okama are still worshipped the great Lord Shinai, even more revered than the other guardians. But here in Yasumizu, we have a different story. The Okami-sama did protect humans, but also ate them. The Okami-sama also forbade fire. That's why the people sought help from the snake, monkey, crow, and spider, and tricked the Okami-sama.
Rikaku-san had called it. Yasumizu's original sin. Last time, Chimi was the one to tell me. Everyone living here knew it surely. And since Kiyonosuke and Rikaku-san knew it, the village heads knew it as well. Kama Fujiyoshi's people, though, just continued to revere the Okami-sama, the wolves.
The people held their feast and gave the Ukami-sama lots of sake. The other guardians helped push the sake on the Okami-sama, and so the Okami-sama got very drunk. Eventually, when the Okami-sama fell asleep, the people threw the Okami-sama and threw them into Saranaga. Fujiyoshi then prospered more than ever, but every now and then the Okami-sama would rise from Yomi and eat people again. The Okami-sama can pretend to be human, so the humans must find them, hang them, and slay them all. However, they can only hang one a day. That was one of Shinai-sama's rules. They gathered like this and decided with which one to slay. They called it the Feast of the Yomi Purge. The evening mist is the sign of the Ukami-sama's arrival, so everyone prepares. Take a bath, hole up in a house alone, and sleep well. That too is one of Shinai-sama's laws. Those who don't do it receive the corruption, Shinai-sama's divine punishment. Young lady, can you please stop writing?
Mamiya-san was taking notes. She silently put away her notepad, and I couldn't help read her expression at all.
I'll explain everything you don't understand. Now, on the day of the evening mist, Shinai-sama brought the corruption, and the Okiba was marked with 3 symbols of the Yomatsu Okami-sama. Sorry, but what is an Okiba?
The stones you can find around Yasumizu. They seem to have been placed there by people, but no one really knows where they came from.
Yasumizu's people believe they should be respected. I heard that before the watering hole was created, the fires were lit atop the stones, so Okiba might mean place for kindling.
That seemed like a weird idea to me, but I just kept listening.
Yasumizu is poor, you see. The soil is bad and we get no sunlight. There are many wild beasts, but hunting them is always a matter of life and death. But because of the Okiba, we believe this place is special.
I see. So what was that about symbols? Those diamonds with whorls in them, right?
Yes. There are 3 of them. So there are 3 wolves.
How do you know that? Is this a daily thing here?
We have mountain festivals round here. Every year, the Miguruma dress up as guardians and walk around the village. The number of wolves is announced in a similar way.
That matched what Chiyame had told me last loop, down to the part where there was a maximum of 3 wolves.
Why 3? Because it's 2 parents and a child.
I myself had already imagined something like that, and it turned out I was on the mark. It didn't seem all that important, though, after all. The wolves didn't have that manner of blood relationship last time.
I can hardly believe it happened too, but now that it did, the people of Yasumizu must hang the Okami-sama. That is the reason why the village heads are so kind to us. It's our mission.
Yoshisugu-kun clicked his tongue, and Yasunaga-kun calmed him down. Takumi-san furrowed his brow, as expected. The village heads? Kind to Yasumizu inhabitants? The exact opposite was true, and many seemed to reject her words. However, she got the story across, and since no one pointed out any problems, it was probably completely right.
Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so...
I also came to understand those words. Yasumizu existed to be the first line of defense if the wolves returned. The people here weren't some vulnerable soldiers, though. They were more like sacrifices. Did I say vulnerable? I meant venerable. In the Shinai faith, Saranaga was the entrance to Yomi, so by letting someone live nearby, they could stop the resurrected wolves via the feast. In Yamawaki-san's story, this duty was something that Kamo Fujiyoshi's family had to rewarded in some way. This wasn't the time to focus on the minor inconsistencies, though. There was something more important. I had to listen and see how accurate the rules she presented would be. Keeping my mouth shut, I waited until she'd gone over everything regarding the rules. Then, I considered it all. We have these among us. 3 wolves, a snake, 2 monkeys, a crow, and a spider. The snake could write down the name of a still living person and place it by their pillow before bed to find out what they were. Now wait a minute, I thought that he didn't know how it worked, unless somebody told him that before. So they write down a person's name, place it by their pillow. Okay. The monkeys, upon receiving their guardians, would be informed about who the other monkey was. The crow would wake up to find out whether a person lynched the day before was a wolf or human. The spider could write down the name of a still living person and place it by their pillow before bed to protect them from the wolves. The powers of these guardians were given out with no regard for the blood of the families they were supposedly protecting. Their powers were to be used to discuss and lynch someone the very next day. There were 3 wolves. They would brutalize one of the humans every night. The wolves had to be purged before they killed all the humans. If you broke the rules, the god of the mountain would bring forth a corruption, a supernatural death upon you. So what I'm a little bit confused about regarding these rules, though, is like if everybody follows the rules anyway, cleansed their bodies, locked up, slept, how could the wolves still kill them? Like, it seems like no matter what, somebody's going to die, period. So that's why I'm a little like, But I guess they could use, like, I don't know, innocence? I don't know. I might be a little confused about that, per se. And then there was that whole thing that if you guys remember in the last loop, we saw, like, that weird mummy-looking monster. So, like, what the hell is that all about? Once the explanation was over, the room was filled with sounds of discussion, and there was still something I had to confirm. I opened my mouth. Wait, hold on, Taba. There's something that I don't understand. But Yasunaga was faster. What is it? You said that the wolves only kill 1 person per night. Yes. But why? In Shinai-sama's court, even the Yomatsu Ugama-sama must do what he says. Why did he give him that rule? And why do they obey it? It's not for us to fathom. Another thing, if the wolves go for the spider's target, can they go for anyone else once they realize they failed? They can't. I was told that if the spider stops the wolves, the humans sleep in peace that night. How do you know that? My grandmother told me a long time ago. You haven't participated in a feast before, have you? His strong tone made everyone freeze. Yasu, what's up with you? If there are feasts every time there's mist, someone here must have been in one, right? As far as I know, we had a mist just 8 years ago, and... Nichan, stop! Haruchan raised her voice and attracted everyone's attention. Stop. I don't want to remember. But Haruchan... I'll ask later, Yasu. My son and his wife died back then. Don't make Haru hear about it. Her parents. Okay. Oji-chan. So that was how it was. It's been like that ever since Nasato got to work the place 8 years ago and it collapsed. It was all coming together. The landslide and Haru-chan's parents' deaths both happened 8 years ago, when there was mist. I wasn't in Yasumizu back then. Did you forget? I helped around the Kamafujiyoshi school you children were staying at. It's my first time. The feast probably happened while we were away. But my grandmother might have been in one herself. I see. Yasunaga-kun backed down, but didn't seem all that convinced. I also had questions about how the rules of the feast could be passed down so perfectly, although nothing could be word of mouth. Through nothing but word of mouth. After all, rejecting these rules meant death. What if there were gaps in what we'd just been told? Those who had never heard of these rules or participated in the feast wouldn't have a clue. Well, from what I knew, Taesan didn't mention 3 important rules just now. The wolves also couldn't kill more than 1 person. If the spiders successfully stopped the wolves, they couldn't choose any other sacrifices for the night. The guardians were written in blood, and you couldn't show yours to anyone. The first 2 were pointed at by Yasunaga-kun, but the last one, well, the thing I heard from Kanzo-san, wasn't mentioned yet. I wasn't too confident in this method of conveying the rules. If this was the way they'd been passed down over the course of the feast's long history, it seemed to me that vital information would have been left out like this, resulting in everyone dying through unintended rule-breaking long ago. That would have ended the tradition, and the fact that they hadn't happened meant there might have been other ways of conveying info. In particular, they hadn't mentioned anything about the way the Guardians were given. Leaving out the part about how they revealed through blood text seemed particularly risky. After all, it was possible that you could sleep in and someone could come in and see it without you realizing it, or you could roll around in a bad way and rub it out. Well, if they said it was some supernatural blood and it just didn't fade so easily, I'd had no idea what to make of that. There was also the possibility that you could walk around with the text on your stomach without realizing it. It took Kanzo-san pointing it out for me to go back and check it. I'd like to ask more about it, but that was the same as telling the wolves I had a guardian. What a predicament. But it didn't seem like I had any time to think about it. Enough of that. We drink, listen to the hag, and pick someone to kill, right? How the fuck do we do that, huh? It's a reasonable question. Well, if the story is true, it means that some of us are already dead and replaced, doesn't it? Oh no! Like hell that's true. Takumi-san had no patience for such superstitions. This is all the village has fault anyway. They want to have some of us off in the midst of the dampen our spirits. Mura, what do you think they are? Rotten-brained scumbags who are behind the times. Don't act like you can deny that. But what do you do to kill a person that way? I don't know. It don't matter, Takumi. The wolves will kill us all if we just sat back and did nothing. We gotta hang them in the feast. There's no other way. Oh man. Saying that at this point was pretty much an admission that he'd been in a feast before. However, his sternness made it hard for anyone to point that out. And having experienced a feast or two before was actually an advantage in the situations anyways. After all, everyone would want to benefit from this knowledge and experience.
Kan-chan, how do we decide who to hang?
Yamawaki-san's question made everyone look at Kanzo-san's face. You can tell how much they trusted him. Oh man.
Oji-chan.
Hey, you there. Fusashi, right? Me? Yes? Can you die? Is he just asking me? No, what? Wait, what? My mind came to a halt for a moment. I couldn't find out how to respond. Umatsu, pour in some more.
Makashima-sama.
Just do it. Rikaku-san argued no further and brought me the cup and the sake.
You should not drink.
It's fine. I will. I took the cup and she folded up. So what do you mean? I drank it all down, then looked over everyone's faces. They lowered their gazes and looked away. Adults, children, the elders, even she and me. No one besides Kanzo-shi looked into my eyes. I could see how it was. Someone's gonna die. We gotta decide who. The wolves will win if we don't. We can't waste a day, and no one's reeking of wolf right now. We'll know more if one dies. I understood now. He wanted to start off by unmasking the crow. My death at the tree would be a chance for him to show themselves, since they know for certain whether I was a human or a wolf. Kanzo-san really did know how the feast worked. He understood that victory depended on those with guardians. And since I was new here, I was easy to sacrifice. It preserved the group's unity and mental health. I could tell that they would tolerate me being the one to hang. However, I couldn't let that slide. My current objective was to survive and escape. Not to mention I was a snake. My death would be really bad for the humans. However, you came here to die, didn't you? Die for us, will you? What a good scenario. If I said I didn't want to die anymore, they probably wouldn't suspect me, but it wouldn't be good in the long run. If they saw me as pathetic, I'd lose popularity and my word would start to mean less. The settlement was in danger. Kanzushi was trying to take control of the situation, and everyone was okay with it. If my words started meaning less to them, I'd be at a disadvantage, creating a situation where I, like the outsider I was, could be killed easily. My only option was to express that I was a person who shouldn't die, but be roundabout while doing it. However, that could make me look dangerous and make it more likely for them to see me as a wolf. Pour some more.
But...
Please do. Oh, so another reason he was making me drink was to get me drunk, making me less resistant to being hanged. Well thought out. I couldn't get drunk from this, though. What a predicament. I had no choice but to man up.
Wait, what are you about to say?
Hisako Mamiya cut me off. This wasn't too bad, so I shut her up and let her talk.
I can't just keep quiet and listen to you all. Are you all actually okay with that? If so, I can't play along.
Mamiya-san.
Don't you think this is weird? The tires burst and the next day we're caught up in something like this. At first I thought it was too old-fashioned even for you people, but now I actually believe this is some custom where you abduct and kill outsiders.
Well, that's wrong. Takumi-san's expression changed as he cut her off. I see your point, but that's accidental. Everyone here feels for you.
But from what was said about Fusashi-kun, I'd be the one to go next, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't. The only one saying that is old man Kanzo. Takumi. Listen, this ain't the way to do this. We should talk about who's shadier than the rest. No one is. We all reek the same. Talking ain't gonna help. What, we all reek? Even me? Why? It don't matter in a feast. The old yet robust man stood up and spoke aloud. There's monsters among us. They don't look like it now, but they kill us at night. That's the feast of Yomi Purge. You won't win with emotions.
Monsters? Old age getting to you, huh? Yoshisugu, please stop. What, you believe in monsters, hag? I don't. There's also the issue of the guy who was putting nails in a woman's tires. Wait, someone put him there? Well, there hasn't been any construction recently, right? People here barely have money for nails. It's gotta be on purpose.
So are you saying the village heads are responsible?
Well, who else? They want to see people die, so they drag the outsiders into it.
Seems likely. Preposterous. They're too busy for that. Youngin, you were sent by Higuchi, right? Now this was bad. He told you anything? Takumi-san, Yoshisugu-kun, and even Mamiya-san stared at me. Well, Fusashi? They now thought I could have been sent here by the village heads as an agent of theirs. That was a really good script. Especially since I actually was the one who burst those tires.
Well, stop! I can't listen to this! These are all just assumptions! What if you're wrong? Don't tell me it'll be okay because the mountain will forgive us or something.
I don't care about forgiveness. We'll hang the wolves and protect Yasumizu. I'm not gonna ask Fusashi anymore. I ain't planning on arming a journalist. But nothing will change if no one dies, and I won't sleep right if I hang a woman and a child. That's all I'm asking for.
Then hang me instead.
Well, that was unexpected. Everyone stared at the stern-faced Chiyomi.
Yasumizu is about to unfairly kill a new neighbor. Is that what it's supposed to be like? If so, then I hate it. If you need a death, then kill me. Consider it atonement for all the trouble I caused. Chini, what are you saying? Yasukun, I just went and thought about which one of us I would prefer to die. And when Kanzo Jichan targeted Haruwaki-san, for a moment I actually thought that seemed fine. I can't forgive that part of me that Yasumizu has made. So if you need someone to die, then kill me, Kanzo Jichan. Genie, stop that. Yeah, I mean, there are other people who can take his place.
He didn't respond. His face was a total blank. No, he actually seemed slightly vexed.
It is just as Sarazawa-sama says. If we seek a meaningless death from a guest, we cannot fault Mamiya-sama for suspecting us the way she did.
Then you do it! You're a fucking family head anyway! Fine by me. What are you saying? She's the last of the Uematsu, the protectors of dreams. How can you even suggest that? Oh, shut up, you scrawny fuck!
It is true that I have no guardian and would simply get in everyone's way. But I am concerned about this girl.
Oh, using the brat to beg for your life, huh? Yoshisugu, shut up already! And you stop playing the good guy! It's their fault that Mom's... That has nothing to do with Uematsu-san! Stop troubling Mom already!
Yasunaga, Yoshisugu...
I was at my limit. Although Kanzo-san's idea was reasonable, it was possible he too was being swayed by antagonism towards the village heads. If they moved based on that or just some sort of hatred, everyone would just become more emotional. People became wolves without any regard for bonds and relationships. I knew that well. That was why I couldn't let the feast take that turn and become heavily controlled by outside factors. There was also the fact that I wasn't about to just accept death. Then, could I let the volunteers die instead? I wasn't fond of that idea. Excuse me. Oh, wow. He just said it. I'm a monkey. I might have underestimated the Feast of the Yomi Purge. I couldn't control it at all. There were too many wills clashing from too many people. Surprised by Yasunaga-kun's words, I fell silent and shot him a sidelong glance.
Yasunaga, you...
My guardian is the monkey. I don't like it one bit. The mountain sure works in mysterious ways, huh, Mom? Are you serious? I am, Yoshisugu. Kanzo-san, I do believe that we must eliminate the wolves. But if we hang someone based on what happens outside the feast, we'll have major trouble in the future. There's still other things we can do. I'm a monkey. As such, I want the other monkey to present itself.
Wait, Yosakun, guardians are too precious to reveal just like that.
No, Teba. The monkeys are the only ones that should be revealed. You understand, Haruto-chan?
Sorry, not at all.
There are two monkeys, but they don't have any special powers. They're just monkeys. That means they're not much of a menace to the wolves. Revealing them instantly removes two suspects, making it easier to find the wolves.
Oh yeah, they're just people, so they're safe.
Now, please show yourself! This was a trap. The monkeys knew who the other monkey was. He didn't have to ask them to name themselves. He could just point them out. He also emphasized that being a monkey meant you were no longer a suspect. He wanted to set a trap for any wolves who didn't have a good grasp of the situation. If a wolf tried to pretend to be a monkey, Yasunaga-kun and the other monkey would just point it out, leading to a faker being hanged. Even if it didn't work, like he said, exposing the monkeys was a good way to get rid of the two suspects. Everyone who knew how the monkey worked would understand this, but as things were, it wasn't unlikely that a wolf could fall for it. It was a simple, creative idea with no risks involved. And now that he'd come out as a monkey, he was confirmed to be human. That made me more relieved than anyone else here. That meant that he, the one who had flawless victory as a wolf last loop, wouldn't be an enemy this time. I already knew that the guardian assignments were completely different than last time, but it was still a nice thought. However, that idea was quickly flipped around. Yasu, don't go acting big on your own. Big? Monkeys can reveal themselves. How many of y'all agree with that? The only ones who raised their hands were Chikamochi Kamoshida, Kiyonosuke Nasato, Chiyomi Sarazawa, Hisako Mamiya, and Haro Makishima, who was kind of timid about it. Yasunaga-kun included, there were 6 people, a minority in the 15 here. Acting big when no one understands a thing, then blabbing on while making yourself look right. That's what wolves do. Ooh, everyone suddenly stared at Yasunaga-kun with pointed glares. Wait, hold on, are you saying that Yosanaga's a wolf? He ain't wrong. You can't fake a monkey. He ain't a wolf. He's what he says he is. But don't go off without telling everyone how it is. The rest ain't as clever as ya. Then let me explain it again. Yasunaga-kun then borrowed Mochi's help to thoroughly demonstrate how 2 groups of monkeys would work. They showed how easy it would be to find out that Mochi, who was playing the part of a wolf, was a faker.
So yeah, if you play the monkey, it won't last long, so it's better to just not. Liars get the rope. Yeah. I see. Now we understand.
Are there any of you who still don't get it? This time, no one raised their hands.
Well, can we remove the old man and the little girl? I'm not sure they understand.
No. Kanzo-san shot her suggestion down, and since no one came to support her, she quickly gave up. Her worries were very reasonable. The feast, however, wasn't. Even if some people didn't understand their own roles, the wolves had to die, or there had to be no future for the humans. That was the Feast of the Omi Purge. If they had guardians, their powers might be wasted, and if they were wolves, they had to be killed. I was pretty sure the people of Yasumizu, at least, were certain that that's how it would go. Everyone gets it. What now, Yasu? Other monkey, please name yourself. No one said anything, which meant that apparently the other monkey doesn't understand anything. That was a natural conclusion. However, no. Why aren't you saying anything, Kanzo-san? What? Oh man, you're a monkey? Really? What a relief.
Kanchan's human. How promising.
They seemed genuinely relieved. You could tell by the sighs and whispers. It was true that it was good that he wasn't a wolf. If he was and continued to take charge of the feast like he was, he could have probably killed everyone even more easily than Yasunaga-kun. Why didn't you name yourself? However, not everything about this was perfect. Yasunaga-kun had forced Kanzo-san to reveal his guardian against his will, which was probably his way of taking the lead. One of them knew how to use his guardian's powers, and the other didn't. Revealing that made Yasunaga-kun seem more reliable. However, if you ask me, I couldn't believe you until you pointed out yourself. That's just absurd. Watch what you're doing. Yosanaga's first step went over the heads of most of those present, and Kanzo-san had just used that against him. He had the makings of a leader, and by scolding Yasunaga-kun for his hastiness, it made it clear what the chain of command was here. As a result, Kanzo-san's control of the situation was stronger than before. It also meant that Yasunaga-kun's plan to help me was negated, leaving me in the same danger as before. I had to act now. Excuse me, can I finally talk? I went and asked Kanzo-san. Talking out of turn here would just make me look like a bad guy. I don't want to die yet. It's not like my life's precious to me. I just think I can be more useful to you alive than dead. Makishima-san, this morning you told me that guardians appear in the stomach. Does everyone know this? I watched everyone's reactions. They just made a little bit of noise.
I forgot to say it. It's said that the Guardian's marks appear on the body. I think everyone from Yasumizu looked at themselves this morning. If you found a mark, you can't show it to anyone.
We have to hide it?
No, you can wash it off.
I see. So outsiders like Hisako-san and Miko-chan wouldn't have known that about this.
I told Miko about it. No need to worry.
Okay then. Then what about you, Mamiya-san?
I didn't look. First I've heard about this.
So it's possible that Mamiya-san has a guardian, but she doesn't know it. By the way, can we pause the feast? We ain't leaving until we decide who to hang. I see. So Mamiya-san will have to check if she has a guardian before tomorrow's feast, and she should be left alive until then, right? And if I had a guardian, you couldn't hang me, but if I didn't, you could. That's why you asked me the question this morning, right? That's right. And since you apparently concluded that I didn't have a guardian, you decided to hang me, right? Surprisingly, Kanzo-san grinned. You got a good head and tongue, I see.
Kanzo-ji-chan, you're being too cruel.
It's fine, Chiemi-chan. I understand my position. I knew this was how it would go. As a human, I don't plan to lie to survive, but I just want one more day. I'll use it to think of ways to help the humans win and find useful information. I'll present it to you tomorrow. If it's no good, then you can hang me then. It didn't mean that I had a guardian or whether the info I would present was based around guardian powers or simple strategy. I was weasel wording like mad. However, it was important to express some sort of self-sacrificial spirit in the situation.
Haruwaki-san.
The effect was the same as when Chiemi did it. Not everyone had agreed that someone should die for the others, but this was a situation where everyone's lives were in danger, and here I was, showing acceptance of my position. Everyone here could tell it wasn't something a wolf would do. The wolves were more likely to hide among the silent ones, not the ones who told the others to kill them. If everyone agrees with his words, the one we hang should be anyone besides the monkeys, Kanzo and I, Fusashi-san, and Mamiya-san. No one objected. Do that then. Whew, I was in for a hell of a time at tomorrow's feast. However, the day I'd bought should have been enough to open up a path for me. So who do we go for then? Why not just take out the village heads? This guy, he's just stuck on that. Jeez, I made a really bad mistake continuing this video. My voice is kind of giving out. What time am I at? Jeez, I'm at an hour 30. I just can't find a good stopping point. You know what? Let me give myself a quick break, and then I'll come back, resume this, and until I can find a good stopping point. Alrighty, I took a little break. Now I'm back, just gonna give my voice a little bit of a rest. I'm gonna laugh if there's a good stopping point coming up right now, but screw it. Okay. Yoshisugu, shut up.
Takumi, you don't like them either, do ya?
If you hang someone because you don't like them, you're the same as them, damn it! Yoshisugu-kun complained a bit, but then he fell silent. He probably understood his point. I have a suggestion. Say it, Nasato. This isn't getting us anywhere. We should choose someone by popular vote. Don't you agree, Sir Makashima? Huh? What the hell? That's insane! I ain't choosing like that! It's not insane! Do you have any idea, any other way to get the consensus of so many people? We can talk it out and decide then!
Takumi-chan, I understand how you feel, but can we really kill by popular vote? Ni-chan, what do you think?
I agree with Osato-san.
You too?
That works. Everyone was stunned, but that they'd accepted Kiyonosuke-shi's proposal. Uematsu, you got something to write on?
I'm sure we do.
But eventually, everyone agreed to it. They must have understood that this was how it had to go. There was a place for storage deeper inside the hall. That was probably where the sake and cup were kept. The inkstone case The inkstone case they kept there had fresh paper inside, and by Kanzo-san's command, Rikako-san began writing down what she had to. Fusashi-kun. Yes? They prepared sake and writing tools. That means that someone knew this could happen, right? Yeah. The paper doesn't seem decades old either, and the water isn't rotten. Doesn't that mean this whole thing was set up by humans? This building is a shrine to Great Lord Shinai. 2 times a year, during the mountain festivals, the 4 head families of Kamafujiyoshi present various offerings. Divine sake, writing tools, ropes, and sickles. I was told these items have been kept here for a long time. That means they weren't just for this time. But the head families still knew that they would be used, right? I know nothing of that. I'd been married into the Haikuchi family for almost a year, but I never heard of that. Oh, I never mentioned that, did I? So that's how it was. Well, I was in the same situation myself for a while, but I never heard anything like that. Who'd tell you of all people? No one would want to share their secrets with you. I don't want to hear that from you, Uncle. It sounds complicated. I also did not know that the things here would be used. There might be something that only the Miguruma know, or perhaps only a select few of the village heads. You lying bitch, you're the head of the Uematsu! Yoshibo, she's writing. What, you wanna go, old fart? Yoshi, cool off. You too, Takumi-ni? Chicken shit. Oh man, I can't say I don't understand him. Mamiya has a point. This means that the heads just acted nice and tributed and stuff, knowing that this would happen to us. Uematsu, you sure you don't know anything? You can just say it. It all makes sense then. I merely had a feeling that God would soon rise again. You know, this was brought on before, too. This whole thing, a mention of God, and like especially Uchimi being really frightened by that aspect, you know? It is a little, I don't know. I'm not sure how to put it. And frankly, I think because of this little thing here, maybe not the best stopping point, but I'm going to make it a stopping point here because even after I break, my voice is still kind of like blah. It's probably because I got to have dinner anyway. So next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue this feast and we'll see what the outcome is going to be. And we'll just take things from there. So, as usual, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for Let's Play Raging Loop. Love you all so much. Have a great day.